since we opened up over 6 years ago, for the first year in operation here, if you had a narrow boat, you had a cabin cruiser or you had a canoe, if you used this lift for the first year, you had to pay. And the charges were £15 if you went up or down, and another £15 if you made the return trip, £30 in all. For the last 5 years and into the foreseeable future, the use of this lift is free now. Use it every day of the week if you want. If you come to the if bit. As long as you have a British waterway license. If, for instance, you have a license for another canal, which is down in this direction, called the Bridgewater Canal, which is not owned by us, that's owned by a very rich gentleman we found out a few weeks ago now resides in the Isle of Man. No wonder. And his name is, I'm not going to tell you his name, he's called Mr. Peel Holdings. Now, if you're not from this area and you don't know what he owns, I'll start to kick it off with you, right? He owns the Manchester Ship Company, he owns Merthyr Harbour, he owns Liverpool Airport, the Trafford Centre, Humberside Centre, Doncaster Airport, etc., etc. You still have to pay. But 99% of the boats in these lists have a British waterway license. Right, now we're coming down 50 feet and 4 inches. From the top of the machinery deck is 80 feet. We've come down 50 feet and 4 inches. Now all you people are on board a boat. The boat is in a tank, and the tank has a gate at one end, and it has a gate at this end. Now we also have the outer gate of the river gate. Now all these gates you see here at Anderton, every single gate you see is not from 1875. All the gates were replaced in the 1920s and the 1930s. No original gate. Each gate weighs approximately 2.5 tons each. Now I've come down 50 feet and 4 inches, and I've come down to form, it's a watertight seal in the form of a V in between these two gates. Now in between these two gates I've got an empty space, similar to the one. So we can't attempt to raise these. I'm not able to raise the gates up at the moment because we have the pressure of the water here in the caisson and the pressure of the water outside in the weaver. Now up until 1983 we had the gentleman that used to work it from the Black and White Hotel bar who moved up into the building now. We'd open a valve and we fill the space in between the two gates with water so we can equalise the pressure. Nowadays we do it different. We get the computer to do it. High above me here I have a thing called a winch. Attached to the winch I've got this wire purchase. In a few moments time the computer will start the winch, up will go the wire purchase, and an arm from the outer gate, which is hidden by my post, will swing under my gate, joining the two gates together, so we can lift them up at the same time. Each gate is approximately 2.5 tons each. Now as the arm comes up, it opens a paddle in the outer gate to let water flow to fill this space in between the two gates. It's simple, isn't it? So we can equalise the pressure. Once the computer has filled that space with water, we'll have the computer will then raise the gate 6 inches. That's the last thing the computer does to check the levels. Then the computer hands over. I have an operator here at the bottom. He has a control panel. He presses his button. Up come the two gates. It's as simple as that. But we still can't sail out, because we've installed a safety system here at Anderton that Anderton's never had before. And the safety system is called, to each and every gate you see, hydraulic shock pumps. And the computer clicks in to hold the gates up. Now very occasionally, in distress occasionally, we find the bolts won't go in. So we don't go through the gate. Why not? Well, if I'm halfway through and that wire purchase snaps holding the gates up, instead of holding the two gates up, instead of one bolt, we're going to have two halves, aren't we? So we go all the way back to the top again, swing round in the base and enter the other case. That takes another 35 minutes, during which time half of you have fallen asleep, the other half's completely bored, and we've run out of conversation. Which is true. So what do? Well, in my case, I don't know what Jackie does. I could probably roll the screen down and show you an exciting video on the Anderton lift. But I prefer to walk around with the microphone and ask if we have a singer on board. It's easier. Now all the commercial traffic's gone from here now. There's no commercial traffic at all. But in the days of the commercial traffic, they had to pay to use this lift. It wasn't free. And the charges are very simple. When a narrowboat entered the caisson from either the bottom here or from the top, loaded with cargo, coal, salt, anything that you mentioned, they had to pay a small fee. And that small fee was 1 shilling of the old money for a loaded boat. If it didn't have any cargo on board, they also had to pay, and that was more, and that was 2 shillings and 6pence for an empty boat. That sounds the wrong way around, that's correct. And for every, they also had to pay on the tonnage as well, and that was 1 penny per ton. And years ago there used to be a footbridge across here where they used to go far. People had to go from left to right, right to left, all day and every day, having to collect the tolls, which he'd place in the toll huts here, until he got utterly bored and fed up and moved to Yorkshire. Now our record of doing these boats, ever since we opened up, has been 37 in a day. That's from 8:30 in the morning to 5:30 at night. That's our record. Our record is of this from Croydon. When Anderton was in full swing here, and you also have to remember, it only worked during the Anderton. Let me swing around. Right, now after Edmund Clark had built this lift, he went to Belgium and France and designed quite a few lifts over there, far larger than this, and this was the very first one. Now the biggest lift in the world at the moment is on the MC Kayak in China. And that comes at 25,000 tons. You have noticed what we're flying above the lift? It took a few months to get.
Why lower the gate there when you've got to go back in?
No, I finished for the day, sir.
Oh, right.
His grass can't keep working. No, our last trip is generally 4:30 if we have a river trip. We don't have one today. Now this, you have a coaster here. This is, they only have it at 2 left. This used to belong to ICI.